Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Scotland in the UK. And on this channel, I love to share what I get up to when it comes to my art, the different subject matters, the different mediums that I love to use, because I feel like every medium is just there for us to play. So on this channel, I get along with that and I just play with whatever medium I am inspired to use at the time. I also want to just quickly thank all my subscribers for the awesome, attempt we had at reaching 1,000 subscribers at the end of last year. Thank you so much for your support. And this is a brand new year, and let's see what we can do with that. So I just wanted to thank you. I hope you had a really good Christmas. And then this new year, I really hope you get a chance to dive in deeply into your creativity. So this portrait I'm just showing briefly here is part of some of the shorts that I do on my channel. So check those out as well. And I'll leave a link to that particular one just to show you how I make the backgrounds in that portrait. But anyway, here I am now showing you some of the prepped pieces that I've been working on. I've been collaging, I've been using my jelly plate there that you can see, and I've been organizing myself, making all these papers with my jelly plate so that I can get on with collaging different colors onto my panels here that I have. So as you can see, I've been quite busy because for this year I really want to share a whole range of landscapes and abstracted work and a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm looking forward to playing around with all of that here on the channel and sharing that with you as I go along. And also, this is like the similar inspiration that I have here, and I'm going to be working in these sketchbooks, and so that's what I'm getting ready here, and I'm going to start laying some paint out. So what is the topic for today going to be about? In this new year, I ended last year discussing about getting started, and I thought, right, if I'm discussing getting started, getting a sketchbook and working away, if you wanted to, for example, just use paint instead, and you didn't really want to just sketch in a sketchbook, what would it be? How would you go about starting that? And that's what today's topic is. It's about process. So my process when it comes to using color is mostly use all of it, but I am trying to restrain myself a little bit, and that's the whole purpose of what I've been doing recently, is to figure out how to use my colors in a way that actually is applicable to what it is I'm trying to do. So I'm mixing my paints more, making sure that I'm not using it straight out of the tube if I can help it. Either way, part of the process, I don't always have to end up with the same color that I took out of the tube, even if I did that. So I'm trying to layer in a way that it helps me not just be just very restricted in how I produce my work. So I'm adding a lot of layers that are dynamic so that I can end up with something different, something unusual for myself, and something that can inspire me to work on. So as I said, I've been trying to do some landscapes, and I have been having some fun with that. I started off making quite generic paintings, I would say, even though I'd used my collage and the different techniques I've been using recently of writing and scribbling, as you'll see here. I ended up getting more and more abstract as this painting experience has been going. So it's been fun to see the results at the end. And I just really want to be free with the way that I create, and I want to put my own signature on it. So here I am now organizing an example of how I can collage on a page. And as I said, it's landscape, so I'm going very generic here. I am making the sky blue, but as you can see, the different textures are not all the same blues. There are different shades, different tones, and there's different patterns on some of them. Then I'm going in to look at what I consider to be the actual, landscape, like the earth part of it, not the sky. And looking at bringing in different greens. These are all papers that I've printed on my jelly plate. And it was a lot of fun doing that. I will show you one of those processes in another video another time. But I had a whole couple of weeks where I just churned out one print after another, tried to use as many different colors as I could. I really tried to mix it up so that I would have variety, which is what I'm saying. As part of the process, I am trying to make sure I am really stretching myself in how I create my templates, my layers, so that I don't have something that is static. And so that's why my topic, as I'm saying, is process. I'm trying to figure out a way of making the process of painting, of creating, really, really dynamic and interesting, and so that I'm not bored, because I could get bored probably really easily, and that's probably why I love using all the different mediums. But I was thinking also on this aspect of process as a very useful way to approach our art creativity, because I feel that a lot of artists always ask about their style. How do we get our style? And they usually ask that of artists they consider to be very experienced. And I feel like if we have a process, that can lead us to finding our style. For example, I love to use every possible medium that I can get my hands on. And that has been a very expensive thing for me, I know that. But whatever medium you can get your hand on, whether it's acrylic, whether it is watercolor, marker pens, whatever one you can get your hands on, I say use them all. Because once you've used them, you will start to see what ones you like to use. You start to see what they do, learn how to use them in a way that you can lay them over each other. There's so many things that assist us when we look at the process of what we are using, what we are doing. And as we forget ourselves, as we create and we play, we can end up realizing that there's some of these mediums that we like and there's some that we don't. We like some of the effects some of them do, and we don't like some of the effects others do. We like the dry time, and we don't like the dry time of others. We like the way that they are, there's movement in some of them, or we don't like the movement in others, and we just go back and forth with all these details. So basically, the technical part of our process can end up informing what we like and what we don't like, which can end up informing also what our style ends up being. Because once we find the materials we have and we realize what kind of effects they can bring about, we can start to add our story to it, our narrative. And because what happens is that I feel the mediums end up helping us to be able to present that in a better way, in a better visual way, that we can tell our story. I know that there's a lot of paintings that I do now, a lot of narratives I should say, in the past that I couldn't find a way to represent. I couldn't find a way to explain within the visual context in my artwork. But the more that I have played with mediums, I have learned how to now bring those stories about, because I now know what medium can represent that story in the best light, in the way that it is used. Like if it has a transparency and you can overlay it. There's so many details when it comes to a process, and all the different mediums have different results when you use them in that process. So I think that is one key way that we can find our style. So that's what I've been doing, is really, really getting into the process, having different situations that are not things that I'm mind locked into. They're not restrictive. They allow freedom. They allow for looseness. And as I get closer and closer to the end, towards what it is I'm trying to create, I can tighten that a bit, but it allows me to experiment on that journey. And that is, I feel, the best way to go about with creativity, is just to experiment, is to just dive into what each medium can do and really experiment, layer different mediums. Once you've been working with art with the mediums for a while, you suddenly realize, or you learn, I should say, that some mediums can't overlay with others, but it's still good to try it. It's still good to see with your own eyes what the results are with different mediums so that you know that you are informed and it's not just something you're hearing from other people. So I am really enjoying this process here. I haven't been doing these landscapes in my sketchbook, and I thought that I wanted to do that today to share that. And yeah, it's so much fun to try and figure out how to go about with these landscapes that I'm doing in my book. So in my sketchbook. So on one side here on the right, I had already got some acrylic paint down and different kind of, what would I call it, metallic paints as well. And then on the left, I have started putting the actual collage straight down before I will be putting any paint. And so there's different ways that you can work with and see what appeals to you the best. And that's what I'm doing. As I said, it's about experimenting, it's about seeing how your process is, and the only way is to just dive in. Another thing I've been doing recently is replication, repeating myself quite a lot. So I have been doing a lot of landscapes and deliberately just one after the other, doing them in batches because I want the memory of what I'm doing to stick in my head. I want to find my process. It's like if I'm doing something and I get a result I don't like, then I want to remember it so that I can either stop doing it, or if I want to keep doing it, then I'll remember to do it. So I'm being very deliberately repetitive and working in large batches or numbers of this process. And basically, I want to be able to do whatever it is I do in my sleep. So if tomorrow I wanted to make a portrait, I want to be able to do it without thinking. As in, there is a technique that I will use. And those are the things that pin down our style. Once we find something we like, and we repeat it over and over again, it becomes part of our signature. And that is the way to go about it when it comes to finding our style. So I'm really enjoying using these fluorescent paints as well. They are so exciting and the results are amazing. So there's still more experimentation in the use of my fluorescents. I know that when I use the orange fluorescent and I put some white in it and some other tones, I get quite nice skin tones. So I'm working on that to try and start to understand different skin tones as well for my portrait artwork. But yeah, so I am just working away in my sketchbook here. I'm actually using a mix of open acrylics as well as the usual drying time acrylics that don't, open acrylics, if you don't know, they last longer. They're leaning more towards like oil paints, so they don't dry off as quickly as the usual acrylic paints. So I have a mix of the two here, and so I'm gonna have to remember to leave my sketchbook open when I have finished with these pages so that they can dry. But yeah, I just really love looking back at my painting process because this is a voiceover and seeing what I have been doing. Obviously, it's the usual thing of where sometimes I see areas that I wish I'd left. But that is the thing that I've been doing is when I'm watching these videos back. When I've gone back to do another one, I'm remembering to tell myself that I need to focus on certain things, or I need to do things or not do things. So I'm learning off my own videos that I'm recording of my process, the things that I like and the things that I don't like. And you could maybe do that for yourself as well. And this is what I'm saying, that the actual practice is what gets you to your style. The doing, the engaging in your process. So this is the second sketchbook that I had lined out there, and I am using the coloring pencil I have here and just adding that as is it asymmetric? That process of writing like nothing in particular, but it's the gesturing. I am doing that there, and put in some other marks as well on this side of the page. As I said, one side of the page had already got paint on it, and the other side I have collaged straight onto the plain white page. So now I'm collaging on the colored side and building the layers there, and trying to, like I said, to see if I like either side, either or of the process. I really know that sometimes I get scared of covering areas from a pre-painted painting, like here where I've just put that pink down, but I'm trying not to be too precious about what is underneath, because the journey is moving forward, so you have to just keep going. And that's what I'm saying, the repetition, it really does something, because at the end of the day, you will become someone who is able to take risks and not be scared. The more you do this and it starts to work, as in you get a result you like, the more experimental you can be. So I really encourage you to dive into the process, to use different shapes, to be free, and to enjoy yourself. Like here, I am enjoying the feel of the brush against the paper. I'm trying to keep myself present to what I'm doing, adding that white in there and moving it in that, curvy manner. I really was trying to pay attention to everything I was doing. So even putting the paint down and I'm mixing it on the actual painting, that repetition is like going back and forth, is helping me remember my gestures. And these are things that we can't learn unless we're actually doing it. Like sometimes I could be just sitting, watching TV or doing something else, reading something, and I'll just want to go and paint. And it's like I have to physically feel the brush in my hand and feel myself moving across the paper, and with my eyes visually seeing something transpire on my canvas or on my sketchbook. And that's not something you can do if you're still sitting in the other room and watching TV. You have to physically be there and see something be realized, something come to life in front of your eyes, and that your hand is partaking in that sequence of events that are creating the artwork. So here I'm using my little roller that I got recently, and I really love this roller. It's so awesome to add marks into your artwork, and I am enjoying really experimenting with the different ways I can use it. Sometimes in my head I'm thinking I'm overusing it, but I don't mind. I'm enjoying the motion. And so that's another part here. I have different tools that I've decided I want to go through and use them all. I want to feel the way that they work. I want to visually see what they produce. And I'm just going to enjoy that process of using all my different palette knives, everything, just everything. And I'm just going to really enjoy it. So enjoying the process is key, I think. We'll have moments where we're unsure of what we're doing, but do it regardless, because it is the foundation of the house. We don't see the foundations of a beautiful building, but there are, layers and layers that have got that building to its stage, to the way it looks, to the point where people are then appreciating that building. So I think it's great to add those layers and not to restrict how we get there. The process is really important. And I love it. So all here I am just gesturing and filling in spaces for no reason in particular. I just decided, I just want to fill that page with some shapes. And then I'm putting some color in, and it's just fun. I want you to try it for yourself, is to paint and do the layering and doing the process, whatever your process. You might work in clay, you might work with fabric. It'd be, for example, the batch way that I've been doing, which is doing things in series. would be like cutting all the fabrics for a purse, cutting them all in one, go, and then maybe the next time you come in, you then kind of add the logo, or then the next time you come in, you then add the zipper, or the next time you come in, you then stitch them up into the shape they're supposed to be. So that's what I've been doing. I've been really getting into the process and leaving behind that final destination, that final product that we are supposed to be looking at sometimes as artists and creatives, and just really digging in, as I said, into the process. So yeah, you can see that I'm really having fun with these. I'm trying not to think too much. I'm just thinking about making marks at every point, just wanting to add something unusual, using every part of my brush, the back, the front, thinking about distance and thinking about things at the front and how the eyes lead in things, and just a whole range of things going on there. But yeah, it's so much fun. And I just thought I'd share that with you guys today. And my main takeaways for today would be the process. The process can lead to our own style as creative individuals. So I would try all the mediums I could try, and see what they do. Don't restrict yourself to like only one medium, because then you might not know what else you could do with, you might not know what else you can do with your art journey. So yeah, I encourage that. And here I'm just deciding to add some other elements. It's supposed to be a landscape, and I decided I would try and add some flowers in here. It's not completely dry, so I'm having to pick the areas where I can put it. If not, you could do so much more on this. You can wait till it's completely dry. You can use markers. You can use more collage. It's endless. You can just keep going back and forth, add in your own symbolism as well. And yeah, I mean, the one on the right is reminding me of like a sunset. I really love those colors together. They're so bright. So now I'm trying to work on the side on the left. So I'm going to just leave you guys here to enjoy the rest of this. If I think of anything else, I'll come in. But if not, the rest of this vlog, this studio share, is going to be about music and me painting away. And you can join in as well. If you've got some projects you're doing, you could go ahead and start doing yours. And I will leave you here for now. As I said, if there's anything else I can think of, I will bring that in. But if not, please do enjoy the rest of the video with some music. And I will see you guys next week here on the Sunday on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for spending the time and watching. And take care in this coming week. See you guys. Bye. Bye-bye.